Hey, how's it going, everybody? Here we are, Tuesday night. And yeah, all is well. How's everybody doing? Who we got here? David Tyree, welcome along. Chris Freemasson, welcome along. Steve Sadusky, Charles Dalton, Chuck, welcome along. Everybody. Jeff Hutchins, good to have you here. I'm on time for once. That's all right, mate. It's all relative, as long as you're here, mate. That's the main thing. As long as you're here. So cheers, everyone. So what's been going on? Paul Funk, good evening, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like button. Quite right, sir. Quite right. Yes, hit that like button. It all helps. Yeah. So what's new, team? What's new? There must be something going on. Old timer, hey, welcome along, bud. Good to have you here. Chief Sadusky, missed the last two, been busy with work. Yeah, work does have a way of getting in the way of life and fun and stuff, doesn't it? Yeah, it's kind of hazard of the course, that a little bit. So, what's been going on at Kiwi's place? Well, did all Paul Funk, SVG, won Watkins Glen? Yes, he did. In a very commanding fashion too, from everything I've read. I didn't actually get to watch the race, but I did kind of. I've read quite a little bit about it, and it was a pretty good showing from all accounts. Chris Freemasson just finished the annual rear brake service on the wife's car. 6 months of brine and rear disc brakes equals 6. Yeah, I bet brine. Yeah, that's going to be hard on the. Hard on the brakes. Mr. Sadusky, Kiwi, I have a question about those recessed door handles. Ask away, man. Ask away. Todd Denier, hey, welcome along, man. Hello from Minnesota. Yes, it snowed a few days ago. Yeah, we missed you last week, mate. Where did you get to? We were kind of hoping you were feeling okay. Old timer, I wish I had the time and the cash for a project car. Just about to sign a 30-year mortgage. Ouch. Still got to live somewhere, don't you, man? Got to live somewhere. You can't be that much of an old timer if you're signing a 30-year mortgage. Old timer, I'd rather play my eyes out. Well, that's a bit grim, a bit brutal. Paul Funk, would love to see that part of the country someday. Yeah. Patrick, KC9KO. KO? We'll just call you Patrick, I think. Good to have you along, man. Old timer, 58. Wow. No, I got a couple of years on you. Well, a couple of 6 years on you. So, okay. Moving town, moving state, moving up in the world. Like, what are you up to? Where do you do the MIG welding? On the outside or inside of the door? On the outside of the door, basically around the hole that you cut in the skin gets welded to the base of the handle. That is how that works. Jeff Hutchins, old timer, look on the bright side. The lender must be pretty sure you have 30 years left. There you go. That's a very positive way of looking at it. Yeah, exactly. Todd Denier, Chris, last week the doctors changed my meds and the change made me sleep for 2 full days. Wow. Slept through the live stream. Oh, shit. 2 days. That's a long time, mate. Oh, you must have been feeling rested after that, hopefully. Brad Eastman, hey, welcome all the way from NZ. Good afternoon, Kiwi. Just got some new valves for the Flathead 6. Time for a valve grind and clean, then reassemble. There you go. What sort of Flathead 6 is it, mate? Paul Funk, hey, Todd, was remembering when I was a kid that I used to ride my bike by red and black 67 Marlin on my way to my grandparents' house. Yep. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that last week, Paul. Yeah. Well, it must have been I'm guessing a fairly new car then at that point. Old timer, just putting a new high-end double wide on my lot. Okay, very nice. Family owned this land since '68. There you go. High-end double wide. Nice. They can be pretty nice. Steve Sadusky, where do you get those door handles? Kindigit. Dave Kindig, that he has the TV show and builds a lot of high-end cars, but he makes those and markets them. So just look up Kindigit door handles, and they'll pop right out. Quite a few different sellers have them, so you're not hard to find. Chris Freemaster, Todd denial. I sleep through the live stream as well. Usually about 5 seconds after Kiwi starts talking about Fords. Oh, that's brutal. Oh dear. Granddad's joke. G'day, Kiwi brotherhood and everyone. Yes, welcome along. Good to see you here, man. Mark Coronet guy. Hi, Kiwi. Hi, all. Just quit for the day on my remodel project. Sipping on tequila and lime. Cheers. Well, cheers, mate. Yes, very nice. Yes, quite nice tequila and lime. Old timer, Jeff Hutchins. They hope we go into foreclosure, damn vultures. Well, hopefully that won't happen. But yeah. Paul Funk, 1980 or so, and it had the wire wheel hubcaps. Oh, very cool. So, okay, it'll be 13-ish years old, 13, 15 years old, I guess. Yeah. Steve Sadusky, are you going to get a set of those handles, are you, mate? What are you going to put them in? Jeff Hutchins, old timer, didn't want to mention that possibility. Well, yeah. Brad Eastman, it's a Dodge truck engine for my 52 Plymouth. Oh, okay. Old Chrysler Flathead 6. I mean, yeah, it's a flathead, so, that doesn't, but terrific motor. They just went forever. Like, not a bad old motor for its era, Not huge horsepower by any means, but it'll just go pretty much forever. Todd denial, Chris. I just got home from visiting my brother on the other end of town. He texted me when I got home saying the dual exhaust on the Marlin rattled his whole house. That's awesome. That's what you want. Very cool. Never too old to make a bit of a raucous, get a bit raucous. So that's very good. Andy Nicol, good evening all. LOL, I fell asleep before the stream last week and missed the whole thing. Oh no. Oh dear. We seem to be a sleepy bunch, don't we? Chuck, happy to say I've been reaching again. The new to me Model A has needed a few things. Most recently sold small coolant leak, hose had slipped, and got the Uga horn working again. Well, that's pretty vital, isn't it? That's pretty vital. That's just part and parcel of a Model A, isn't it? The Uga horn. Old timer, I'm sipping Widow Jane, 10-year-old bourbon. I haven't heard of that one before. Widow Jane. Okay. Steve Sadusky, just got home from a long journey over the road. About time to open a beer. Seems fair. Pop's Mustang Shop, welcome along, man. This weekend is one of our biggest local car shows. I'm taking my old 1983 Dodge D150 shop truck. Yeah, why not? They're not a bad-looking truck. Not bad at all. Quite cool. And certainly, old enough. It's old enough. Steve Sadusky, thinking about putting them on my 85 Monte Carlo SS. Okay. They're about $695. They're not cheap. But pretty cool. And, of course, you got to paint your doors. So yeah, by the time you're kind of done and dusted, it'll cost you a little bit. Mark the Coronet guy, Steve Sadusky, 8 minutes past time on the West Coast. There you go. Andy Nicol, I'm in tonight, but I need to spray the top of a marlin the top on a martin tonight, so I'll be mostly quiet, maybe. There you go. The martin is a guitar, I'm guessing. I thought it said marlin for a minute. I'm thinking, what? But yeah, Martin, it must be a guitar. Danny Boyd, hey, welcome along, man. Here comes that working man. Jeff Hutchins, I don't get it. Fords are very exciting. Fires, parts falling off, no brakes, very exciting. Just kidding. I own a bunch of Ford trucks. People have their favourites, and that's fine. That's the way it should be. It's a good thing, And yeah, as long as you don't get too kind of one-eyed about it, because they all have their faults and they all have their strong points, Chris Freeman, here we go. The problem with Ford is how often I see them. If our roads didn't have shoulders for them to break down on, this would not be a problem for me. Oh, well. Old timer Kiwi. Widow Jane is very good. Beats the usual stuff all to hell. Well, cool. I'll have to keep an eye open for it. It's not one I've seen. Hey, Chris Freemeter, I meant to ask you, did your T-shirt arrive? Hopefully it did. Should have done. Steve Sadusky, it'll be unique though. Oh, it will, absolutely. Yeah, no, it'll definitely look cool. But yeah, it's just the handles in the little box they come in just for a lump of steel and not terribly complicated. It's a little chunk of change. But small numbers, manufactured here in the States. And and small numbers, so it's just not going to be. It's not going to be $89.95. Brad Eastman question: does anyone know what a good carburetor for the flathead would be? Ooh. I've got an old single barrel Holly, but would like some advice if there's any. Got an old single barrel Holly, but would like some advice if there's any out there. Anything else out there? Carburetor. You don't need a lot of carburetor. You don't need probably don't really even need a 2-barrel carb. It might help it. I don't really know. But if you could get a really small 2-barrel, that might off of something, that might be not a bad option. But I suspect that just the 1-barrel will be enough. Because you can put a huge carb on it. There's only a certain amount of air is going to go through that flathead layout. That's the unfortunate truth of it. So, yeah, I would go as small a carburetor as you can get away with, just to help the atomization and all that kind of thing. Chris Freeman says the T-shirt did arrive. Thanks for the stickers. You're most welcome, man. You're most welcome. Buddy Caro Fano, do you think Mustang using gas tank as a trunk floor is a bad design? There is, the Pinto kind of had a similar design, I believe, and they had some issues with rear end impacts causing fires. But honestly, that's not something I've come across in the Mustang world really at all. I have, to be fair, I have heard of one car that got hit really hard in the back. It was a convertible Mustang, and it did cause a fire. But yeah, I mean, you gotta get hit pretty damn hard to rupture the tank, but it does happen. Is it a bad design? Depends how you look at it, I guess. I mean, it's very functional. It does 2 jobs, which is always, in the automotive manufacturing world, that's always a good thing. saved on 6 square feet of sheet metal probably, and yeah, as I say, you bolt the tank in, and you've also put your floor in at the same time. So I think from a mass production line type setting, I think it was a pretty good idea. But no, I don't believe it's a bad design. No, I think if I don't think it's a bad design. No. Todd Denier, Brad Eastman, I would recommend a Stromberg. There you go. Little 1-barrel Stromberg. Robert Hirschfield, Ford, first on race day. That's right, mate. Paul Funk, what colour are you going to paint the Sunbeam? The Sunbeam is going to be a very dark, like British racing green, but very metallic, a lot of pearl in it, a lot of metallic. But yeah, essentially a dark British racing green colour. But very, we've got the colour. It's a very rich, it's a very cool colour, honestly. Yeah, we'll got a little bit to go before we get to that point. Yeah. Chris Freeman, I joke around, but I do like the looks of the 68 Fairlane, and now hiding behind a stout concrete wall, the 71 Mustang Mach 1. Oh, the Fairlane, yes. The 71 Mach 1, I'm not a big fan of, I'll be honest with you. But that's the beauty of hot rodding. Everybody likes different stuff. It's awesome. Yeah, the 71 Mach 1 is where they lost their way, in my opinion. That's just me. Robert Hirschfield, any car hit hard in the rear is not good. Well, I mean, yeah. This is the thing. I tell you, if you get hit really hard, if you've got stock Mustang seats and you get hit hard in the rear, the seats are going to do you some harm as well, because they don't have, they're not very high backed at all, and that's going to give you some spinal injuries, back neck injuries. So yeah, getting hit in the hard getting hit in an old vintage car, classic car, is never a good thing. If you get hit in the front, you've got a steering column just doing its best to harpoon you. There's a lot of reasons not to try and avoid getting hit hard in a classic car. Brad Eastman, thanks guys. Yes, as small as I can get away with was my thoughts. Otherwise, just a waste. Yeah, and your airspeed through the carburetor and through the intake manifold just suffers with too big a carburetor. You want a bit of vacuum, and you want a little bit of airspeed, and so. Very good. Chris Freeman, so I've heard stories of old Mustangs getting rear-ended and the burning fuel going into the back seat since there's no firewall between the trunk and passenger compartment. Yeah, it has happened. It has happened. They do make a steel panel you can put in, to act as a bulkhead. Pretty tough in a fastback because they've got that fold down panel, most of them, that allows you access from the trunk. So unless you want to do away with that, it's a little hard with a fastback Mustang. But yeah, it's a thing. It can happen, but it's just statistically, the likelihood. I guess you've got to decide whether it's a high enough percentage of it happening for you to either not buy it or ignore it, or put a somewhat fireproof bulkhead in there. Jeff Hutchins, as a Mopar man, I think they made the most amazing looking cars of all time, period. And also some of the most hideous. I won't say which are hideous, don't want to insult anyone's pride and joy. Oh, hey, I agree with you completely, because I'm a little bit of a Mopar man. Obviously, I've got large Marge, and that's the car I've wanted for many years. So yeah, yeah, I agree with you 100%, Jeff. But the ugly ones are kind of so ugly they're cool. Um, so yeah, Mopars tend to win. Kind of with me personally. No matter which one they are. Um, Danny Boyd, love the 68, 69 Fairlane Torino fastback. Coops and Verts ain't bad too. Yeah. I had a 69 Torino fastback in New Zealand when I was a teenager, till I destroyed it, unfortunately. Todd Donato, Chris Freeman, quit pushing me out from behind the wall. I like the 71 Mac 1 and 2. There you go. See, it doesn't make anybody wrong. It's just you like what you like. Tanny Boyd, I wonder if a 71 Mac is harder to see out of than a 2005 fastback. Probably not much in it, mate. Charles Chuck, oh man, that green sunbeam is going to be gorgeous. It really should be. It really, I can see it in my mind's eye, and in my mind's eye, it looks really good. So we shall see. All will be revealed in time. Chris Freeman, so I get it about the 71 Mac 1, but for reasons I can't explain, sometimes you see a car and it just works for you. The Mac 1 is such a car for me. Yeah. No argument from me, brother. No argument from me. I get it. There's some cars I like that people look at me sideways. So it's all good. Barry Cooter, hey, welcome along, man. Good to have you here. My VG Valiant got hit from behind at a standstill by a VF Valiant doing about 80. Oh, my God. That wasn't very good for it. No, that would have been, I'm sure that was the end of the VF Valiant. Did it rupture the fuel tank? Because they're under the floor, but they are under the trunk floor, but they are separated. So, although the filler neck goes inside the trunk, doesn't it? It's kind of an odd setup on those. Buddy Caro, 71 Mustang's still better than a Mustang 2. Yeah, I'll give you that. That's fair. No, the Mustang 2 was the best thing about the Mustang 2 is what has finally evolved out into the Mustang 2 front suspension. That's its most redeeming feature, really. And the Mustang 2 suspension is really nothing like what came out on a Mustang 2 back in the day. Good grief. Jeff Hutchins, I'd make an adapter on the Dodge Flathead for something like 1,000 CFM Dominator carb. It sounds like you're used to Mustangs. With that Dodge power plant, you don't want to mess around feeding it. 1,000 CFM. Yes, well, good luck getting that to run. Yes. Here we go. Trying to keep up here, guys. Yep, but I'm not. Hang on. What's going on here? Here we go. Jeff Hutchins, what isn't better than a Mustang 2? Chris Freeman did a little research on Cromwell during some downtime at work today. Looks like it is a lovely place. You're absolutely right. Steve Sadusky, how's Large Marge coming along? Mate, she's feeling very, very neglected, I'm sure. Absolutely nothing is going on with Large Marge. It's busy as, what do they say? I'm as busy as a one-armed paper hanger at work, as between trying to get everything done at work and trying to get some, keep the Alpine moving along. And Marge has sat in front of the workshop and absolutely nothing is happening to her. But that is a car that I am unquestionably going to finish. Really just waiting on the engine. And to be fair, the engine builder, I have not been pushing him at all. Like if the motor was ready right now, I wouldn't be ready to put it in. So I'm not pushing him for the engine. I've got to get some more done on the Alpine, get some backlog of customer work cleared out. that's part of the trick. It'd be nice to go full time on the Alpine and Marge, but that doesn't pay the bills, you know. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't pay the bill. It buys a few parts, but it doesn't pay the bills. So, you know. Paul Funk did a bunch of work to my neighbour's 79 C10 that he bought new, but won't pass it on to his family unless they agree to relocate the saddle gas tank. Oh, okay. Huh. But he drives it with the saddle gas tank. Oh. Calvin RF. Funny. I wouldn't drive a car without a collapsible steering column. My 69 Falcon was probably the first Falcon to have one. 69? Yeah, probably would have been too. Yeah, collapsible steering column is Kiwi. It's probably, I mean, very cool guy. Kiwi guy I know, new, past tense. And you guys, some of you guys may have heard the story, but he was a automotive upholsterer out in LA area, or the greater LA area. And he crashed his Impala with the one piece, you know, the solid steering column. I think it was an Impala. No, sorry, it was an old Nomad, an old wagon, a Chevy, like a Bel Air wagon. And he had a fairly hard hit in it, and he's gone. And from the pictures I've seen, it was the steering column that would have got him. So yeah, it's certainly given me food for thought on collapsible steering columns. As a result, the Alpine will be getting a collapsible steering column, because it's like, wow. And seeing the pictures of the wreck of his car, yeah, it wouldn't have been nice. You know, being brutally honest, it would not have been a nice way to go. Well, I guess it's never a nice way to go, but it would have been pretty gruesome, I think. Yeah. So yeah, collapsible steering columns are, I think. Well, what was that? Yeah, the Mustangs. You know, I don't know how many of their steering columns have taken people out, but something to think about. Barracuda, yeah, Chris. The whole Central Otago area is a pretty special place. Have you checked out beautiful Queenstown? Chris Freeman, he's talking to. Danny Boyd, I think US DM Fords got the collapsible column in '68. Now, let's see. 68 Mustangs definitely had them. I'm just not sure about the Falcons. Could well have been the same for the Falcons, of course, being probably came into force, in that particular year. Jeff Hutchins, as I've stated before, our 2000 Battlebird got rear-ended. Battlebird bone was mangled, rear frame horns bent, but still driving it. Freightliner left on a hook. That's amazing that you took out a Freightliner. That's crazy. Barracuda, nothing like classic car therapy. Ain't that the truth, man? Ain't that the truth? Michael Pagliarini, evening all. Removed the sail panel on my 65 Mustang coupe. Bet you know what I found. More rot. Had to make some patches, and my drip rail is rotted out about 5 inches. Yeah, whoops. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. They suffer from rust a bit in that area. Jeff Hutchins got rear-ended by a 2002 Dodge diesel at 50 mile an hour. Wow. We were stopped in an 88 Chevy half-ton, drove the Chevy home, but it was beyond repair, just like the Freightliner. The Dodge got towed. Crazy. Wow. That's a hard hit, man. Matt Kennedy, the Alpine metalwork looks amazing. Well, thank you, sir. All that bare metal doesn't seem to develop surface rust. When metalwork is completed, how do you treat it prior to epoxy? Yeah, there's there's some metal prep stuff that I use. Yeah, what's it called? Gosh, I've gone blank now. It's similar. Kevin Tates uses one called Pickle X, which is very similar. And yeah, basically you wipe it onto everything, and like as sparingly, which is why a lot of the metalwork on the Sunbeam is not going rusty as it sits there bare, because I've already wiped it down with this stuff, and it's pretty good. It'll keep stuff rust free as long as you don't put sweaty handprints on it and stuff like that. That will cut through it. Believe it or not, the sweat, the oils and stuff, and the acids in your sweat actually go through the metal prep and will start to rust. Not heavily, but you can see it. You can see handprints, and it happens more over summer, just obviously because you're sweating more. But yeah, so but yeah, I mean, cleaning prior to epoxy is sucks. It's a shitty job. It's mind-numbingly boring, but yeah, you kind of got to do it, because epoxy is super sticky. It sticks to most things, but not anything and everything. It's pretty good. Chris Freeman, all US cars had to have collapsible column in '68. My Beetle has one. Oh wow, yeah, that kind of fits, because I know the Mustangs that like '67s don't have collapsible, but '68s do. So, of course, I wasn't in America then, so I missed that little rule change. Brad Eastman, the good thing about driving a left-hand drive car in New Zealand is I'm about as far away from oncoming traffic as can be. Well, that's true. That's true. It sucks trying to overtake, though, doesn't it? Barry Cooter, no, I don't think the tank ruptured, and thankfully no fire. The VF was fixed using front end parts of my car, mine written off. Okay. Robert Fitch, hello Kiwi. This is my first time joining your live chat. Okay, we have been watching all your vids for a year. Okay, very cool. Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And thanks for joining in tonight. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. Jeff Hutchins, saddle tanks don't bother me. The Dateline NBC scare was all faked by the show. Maybe not the best idea, but I can live with it until I don't, I guess. Oh yeah. I mean, if you're carrying 20 gallons of fuel around in your vehicle, which obviously 16 to 20 is fairly commonplace, there's potential if you get hit the right way / the wrong way, and you happen to have a full tank of gas, and if certain things all align, it can be a major problem. It doesn't. There's not a perfectly safe place for a fuel tank. It's an incendiary device that we just hope like hell doesn't catch. So yeah. Charles Dalton, my wife asked about the safety on a Model A. I told her with mechanical drum brakes and 40 horsepower, we can neither stop fast enough nor go fast enough to get hurt. Well, there is that. The risk you run, obviously, is getting hit by something that does have more horsepower and can go a lot faster. So, but, you just kind of got to have your wits about you, and something's going to get you sooner or later. So, I mean, and if you stop doing anything that's remotely, has the slightest element of danger to it, well, it's going to be a pretty boring life, isn't it? Like, you've got to live a little. And if live a little means, driving your classic car that's not as safe as a brand new one, then so be it. Hopefully you have enough sense to try and mitigate the risks as much as possible by the way you drive. But saying that, I've done some interesting driving in my hot rods, so don't always practice what I preach, do I? Robert Fitch, I'm seeing a lot of names I see in another chat that I recognise. A lot of I tuned into Mexican Specs live over the weekend, just briefly, for 10 or 15 minutes, and a lot of the same names were there. So yeah. Chris Freemacy, Robert Fitch, your name does look familiar to me as well. Jamie's live stream, perhaps. Yeah, there's no shortage of live streams, and yeah, as I say, the same names do tend to appear in them. Todd Denier, Barracuda, having the front from yours used to fix that one. That the one that hit it is adding insult to injury. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit, but keeps one on the road, I guess. Robert Fitch, bingo. There you go. Buddy Caro, Bano, get hit by a head-on drunk driver. I think the airbag saved me. Mate, airbags are pretty good. Airbags work. I've not really heard anybody saying the airbags are a bad idea. I think they're a spectacularly good idea. Calvin, I've been following a guy named Reed in Australia, repainting all that good Aussie stuff. He always talks prepping bare metal. Yep. Yeah, you've certainly got to prep it. Robert, where'd we go? Robert Fitch, yep. Hang on, that show up the page. Just a little. Come here, come on. Cool. Mark Coronet guy saying hi to Jamie. Oh, hi to Robert Fitch, sorry. Robert Fitch, yes. Yep, I'm a Mopar guy. My first car was a 57 New Yorker. Very cool. So I always want to see more large Marge. Fair enough. Yeah, I do too, mate. I do too, but there's just one of me and there's just not enough to go around at the moment. I need a cloning machine is what I need. But yeah, good luck with that, right? Jeff Hutchins, wish I could borrow Kiwi's brain while he's sleeping. Do some body and pain work, then give it back. That would be really handy. Yes, indeed. Yes. Indeed. Buddy Caro drove Chevy truck with a gas tank behind the seat in the cab. Had no problems. Yeah, a lot of people get very jumpy about that. The gas tank inside the cab, and yet the reality is they're not bursting into flames every other day by a long shot. Yes, I mean, you're sat right, 4 inches in front of a fairly decent sized incendiary device, but they just don't. It's pretty rare. It's very rare. Though you've got to have a hell of a hit on one of those C10 type trucks to get to the tank, and you're probably in a lot of trouble anyway if you get hit that hard in the side of the truck. Your number's probably up anyway. Barracuda, Cromwell benefited from the building of the dam for years. Then it got quiet in the 2000s. Vineyards became popular, and I think people started realising what a nice area it was. There you go. Sounds about right. Snow Crusher, welcome all the way from Canada. Or what do they also call it? Canadistan. All of those three. Todd and I, Chris, what was your first car? And what was the first car when you moved to America? Oh, okay. My first car was a Fiat Bambina. Gosh, I don't know what year. It was a late 50s, I think it was. Fiat Bambina. It was an early Fiat Bambina, if you even know what those look like. You don't see many here. They're worth a lot of money now, which is bizarre to me. They were the slowest thing ever. Insanely slow, like about 45 mile an hour was flat out. A little tiny 2-cylinder 500cc engine, which made next to no horsepower. But yeah, that was my first car. But beggars can't be choosers, right? The first car I had here in the States was my Dodge 2500 Dodge Ram. which we bought to tow our camper around and go exploring around America when we first got here. So that was my first car. My first classic car, however, was a 57 Buick Super, two-door hardtop, which I still have, tucked away in the back. Jeff Hutchins, I got to admit, having the tank behind the seat of a pickup does bother me a bit, especially since almost everybody smoked back in those days. Well, as I say, cigarettes won't ignite fuel, gasoline. So I don't know. If you've got a leak bad enough that a cigarette or lighting a cigarette is going to ignite it, you've got a bad fuel leak. Yeah, because it's just not like Hollywood where a little, someone throws a cigarette in the puddle of gas and there's this massive freaking explosion, It's just not like that. Brad Eastman, Kiwi, I drive for a living. Boy, I've seen it all. I don't overtake anyone anymore, not in a hurry. Yeah, I get it too. Yeah, you do. Yeah. As you get a little bit older, you're not in such a hurry anymore, are you, to get where you're going? Like your final destination's coming fast enough anyway without speeding it up. Yeah. Robert Fitch, hello to Jeff Hutchins, Barracuda, and Todd Denai. Obviously names you've seen in other places, which is all good. Mark Coronet, yeah, for obvious reasons, not a fan of mix spec. Oh, okay. He's a typical used car salesman with the same integrity I've lost. That's a little harsh. Okay. Hang on. Shot down the page a little bit here. Chris Freeman, vineyards are a thing in our part of New York State as well. Good for tourism, absolutely. Barracuda, yeah, Todd, I'd like to have that car now. I do a Pacer replica. Yeah, the guy that hit me ended up being my neighbour and friend. Oh, there you go. Small world, right? Chris Freeman, a gas tank behind the seat is probably safer than having it above your legs like a beetle. Well, there you go. There you go. Didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's a good point. Hi, Robert Fitch. Hi, Mark Coronet guy. If I recall correctly, you and I both grew up in Seattle back in the 70s, or is that a different Mark? Oh, wow. Robert Fitch. I used to call it Canadian. Not sure what the locals think of us foreigners calling it Canadian, but hey. Jeff Hutchins. Personally, I can't think of anyone that I know who's ever been burnt or killed in a wreck because of a gas tank. I know it's happened, but it's actually pretty rare. Yeah, that's what I believe too, mate. Yeah, everything, the numbers I've seen, it's pretty rare. Mark Coronet guy, Robert Fitch, same Mark. We have had some good conversation, both from the same general area, Snohomish country. Cheers, pa. Snohomish country. Wow, never heard that one. Jeff Hutchins, fires are way more common under the hood. Yep, that's the truth. That's the truth. Wow. Barracuda, the first man to plant vines near Queenstown about 78, was told he was wasting his time. They were very wrong, and he was very right. I'm sure he's done very nicely out of it, I imagine. Buddy Caro, Chevy X-frame, probably worse than gas tank if hitting the side. Yeah, I actually don't know how they fared in a side impact. You wouldn't think it would be well, though, would you? Um, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Very good. Chris Freemus, if the land down there is fertile, as has been mentioned in these live streams, you'd think somebody would have tried growing grapes there sooner. Well, that's true. That's true. The land really is that fertile. It really is. It's not just one-eyed Kiwis. It's a thing. Snow Crusher, just don't call us the 51st state. No, that would be that. I mean, yeah, we can tease you a little bit about Kanadistan, but no, not yeah. Well, I mean, Trump might like that idea, but it's about as far as it goes, I think. Mark Coronet, hey Barracuda, another DD Dead Dodge Garage, DDG. Okay, I got you. Yeah, Mark, I'm sorry I reacted that way, but I just haven't heard that about Mix, and he's not here, so it's a little tough. But I mean, yeah, sort of sorry to hear you had a bad interaction. Chris Freemesser, Snow Crusher would never do that. A lot of us down here were appalled by that as well. Yeah. Todd Denier, Jeff Hutchins, a guy who lived 3 doors down from my parents, died from a gas tank in the cab of his old Chevy truck when he had an accident. Yeah, it certainly can't be said that it's never happened, but it's not very often. Patrick, nice choice of words. Your final destination is coming soon enough. Well, that's the reality of it, isn't it? But yeah, you're not, I don't know, you definitely slow down. You're just not in such a hurry to get everywhere anymore. And I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, really, but that's the way it is. Certainly for me. Yeah. My wife, I think Mrs. K gets a bit frustrated with me sometimes because I kind of putt along a bit, but it's like, yeah, we're going to get there. And yeah, I don't even consciously go slow. I'm just in cruise mode, just cruising. Yeah, she gets she'll it doesn't really tailgate, but she certainly gets a little vocal at times when people are going too slow. So yeah, it's quite amusing actually. Jeff Hutchins, Kiwi, everyone knows that as you shoot a gas tank, it turns into a mushroom cloud. In real life, it's almost impossible to do that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the real life isn't Hollywood, is it? Barracuda, friend of mine had an engine bay fire in his Ford Escort. It was common with those apparently. I think they had plastic fuel lines and stuff like that in those Escorts, and which was a problem. But it typically, remained in the engine bay for the most part, because as soon as the engine quit running, the fuel would stop pumping, and the fires would die out. Robert Fitch, Mark Coronet guy. I think we'll probably eventually meet in person someday, perhaps at the DGG 100,000K subscriber party. Hey, how many of you guys? I'm going to put it on the post that I put up today, but yeah, I just hit 30,000 subscribers, so I'm a little bit short of the 100K, but I was pretty happy with that. 30,000 subscribers is. That's I kind of really didn't imagine that when I started this little game, so I was pretty happy with that. Charles Dalton, speaking of gas tanks, I drove an old CJ for years. The driver's seat was bolted to the gas tank. Yep. And a cigarette tossed into a bucket of gas goes out. It does. Great party trick to scare people. Yeah. Yes. Andy Nicol, as locals call it, Kanadistan. Volfly's in the house. Welcome along, man. The Volfly darts about aimlessly. Yep. Sounds about right. Hang on, let me go back up here. Here we go. Volfly, not cooking tonight. The prefabricated chicken fettuccine will do. Prefabricated. That's a good way of putting it. I like that. Jeff Hutchins, Snow Crusher, you know you want to join up with us. Oh, that's fighting talk. Bullfunk, thank God we're not discussing seafood this evening. Well, yes, Volfly did just get in the room, so, you know, all bets are off. Barracuda, the ground for vineyards is rocky and dry, apparently similar conditions to the south of France. Vineyards. Oh, wow. Okay, didn't know that. Todd Denio, Andy Nicol, I always thought it was Kanukistan. My family left there and moved southeast of the border in 1704. Wow. That's amazing you got a family tree that goes back that far. I think that's wild. Chris Freemess of Volfly, same here, we had stromboli for dinner. What is stromboli? I've heard that word before. I don't even know what it is. Volfly, a bit too tired to cook. Wife wanted to do some gardening, which means I have to haul it around. Honey-do list. Got the honey-do list. Mark Cornick guy. Okay. Kiwi. I bought a car from him. It was less than a good experience. He never should have bought the car. Long story, but there is some animosity. End of the day, the car will be a decent car. End of the day, the car will be a decent car. Dollars. Yeah. Hopefully it all works out. And yeah. Yeah, I don't know the story, so I've really got no input into that. But yeah, hopefully it works out for you, mate. That's all I can say, and that you end up happy with the car you got, even if it does, if it didn't work out quite the way you want to. As long as you get there in the end, I guess is the main thing. Brad Eastman, my wife says drive with a purpose, people. So I hear you, Kiwi. I'm going to share that one with Mrs. K. I think she'll like that. Drive with a purpose, people. I can just see her rattling that off regularly. I think she's going to be a menace when she gets this Alpine. Volfly, the chickens and ducks are plotting against me. They're trying to dig up the house. I'll have to put the leashes on them. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Mark Coronet guy, Dan, congratulations, Kiwi. That's huge. Yeah, I mean, it is for me. I know I'm not Vice Grip Garage or anything, and never will be, I'm sure. But, it's a bit of fun. And honestly, it's just kind of it's quite humbling for me. I'm just guy from New Zealand just doing it, living the dream, and all these people want to come along and for the ride, so to speak, and like what I do, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Todd Denio, Chris, having 30,000 subscribers is cool. It's 30,000 friends you didn't have before. Well, exactly, yeah, and that's right. Like, I do get quite a few YouTube visitors to the shop, guys that will just swing by and say hi, and they watch me on YouTube, and I don't mind that. It's like it's very cool putting faces to names, and any of you guys watching, if you're ever down my way, like, please do. I know not every YouTuber wants visitors, but I'm all about it. I'm happy, and if it takes an hour out of my day, well, that's okay. It's cool to put a name to a face. So yeah, swing by and I will make time for you. Not all day or half a day, but I will make time for you. Jeff Hutchins, Mark Coronet guy. Like both of you guys, I wasn't there. I'm staying out of it. No offense to either one of you. Yeah, well, Jeff, that's that's what you got to do because, it's not going to add anything. You and I are not going to add anything to it. And so, yeah, it's one of those things. And it does go on when business transactions are made. Doesn't always work out like spectacularly. Sometimes it can be, anything from something completely out of everyone's control to something completely shady, and anywhere in between. So it's a chance you take when you do business and exchange money for goods, So, yeah. Spirit Hunter, if you shoot a propane tank, it will not explode unless you have an external flame near it. Okay. Mark Coronet guy. I thought a stromboli was used to treat the ice at a rink. No, that's not. What are they? Similar word though, isn't it? I hear what you're saying. Zamboni. It's a Zamboni, isn't it? The ice smoothing machine. Is it? I think it's a Zamboni. I might be wrong. I don't know. I've been to a few ice hockey games. I should remember, but I don't. But hey, welcome to your 60s. Yeah. Chris Freemaster. Stromboli is like all of the toppings of a pizza, fully wrapped in a crust, sort of like a calzone, but shaped differently. Okay. Firefly aside from the potato gun, that is. There you go. Robert Fitch, wow, I have 11 subscribers on my Valiant Effort 65 channel, and I only have 3 shorts. One about my Dodge truck and 2 about one of my cats. I didn't know I had that many. That's a diverse topic, range of topics, Dodge trucks and cats. That's one end of the spectrum to the other, isn't it? Barracuda. In a New Zealand movie, they put a propane tank on top of a barbecue to see what would happen. I would get as far away as possible from that. Well, yeah. Yeah, it was they will blow if they get hot enough. But goodness, that's got to be. I don't know whether a barbecue would do it or not. Tavo, hey, welcome along, brother. How you doing? Hi, people and others. Just a quick drop in. Having cat health problems. On phone consultation with the local vet, 105 kilometres away. That's about 62, 63 miles away. So that's a drive. Well, I hope your cat's all right, mate. Tavo, don't want to appear as a snob. Yeah, I don't think there's too much risk of that, mate. I think you'll be fine. I don't think anyone's going to accuse you of that. Todd Denier, of the 200 remaining 67 Marlins left, mine makes 76 that are in running condition. It's very cool. That's a super rare car, isn't it? You think about it. That's pretty rare. Now, you have told me this, but how many did they make to have 200 left? Robert Fitch, maybe I should make some real content on the Valiant and recently acquired Dodge Power Wagon. Hey, people will watch it. I promise you. People will watch it, How many? It remains to be seen, but people will watch it. And yeah, Dodge Power Wagons are getting very popular, and obviously Valiants are popular, very popular, depending what sort it is and all that kind of thing. So, yeah, go for it, man. And I mean, the thing to remember is if you're doing that stuff anyway, if you're working on your Valiant, you're going to be working on it anyway. Record it and make a few comments to the camera and stick it up there and see what happens. Jeff Hutchins, the only Canadians I know are from the west side and I like them all. If they ever do want to join up, I'll welcome them wholeheartedly, not forcing it. Nobody is in reality. No. Tavo, I'll come and knock on your door when I get a minute, Kiwi. You do that, brother. You do that. Barracuda, Tavo, good luck with the cat. Yeah, hopefully it's okay. You do get kind of attached to them little critters, don't you? Mark Coronet guy, Jeff Hutchins. I get it. I respect that. I was the one that pulled the trigger on the purchase and just wasn't full disclosure. And it was confiscated from me for several months by the state. Oh, well, you got it back, so that's key. That's key, but yeah, nobody needs the stress. Yeah. Brad Eastman, mate, yours is the only channel that I watch the live stream, let alone comment. And I think you and your followers, everyone here are great. Thank you first. Second, we do have a really good crowd in these live streams, I think. And I might be biased, I'll give you that. But yeah, it's just a good group. Jeff Hutchins, if I ever get down that way, I'll stop by and tell you what you're doing wrong. I'd appreciate that, mate. Yeah, because I do shit wrong every day. So, yeah, I need some help. Paul Funk, Zamboni. Yeah, I thought it was a Zamboni. Chris Freemester, sometimes unforeseen problems happen when buying cars. Just took me 6 months to get a car I bought from Washington State, registered here in New York due to legal weirdness. It happens. It does. It does. Fair enough. Thanks, Mark. What did I do? Push the wrong button. Hang on. What's going on here? Behave. Come on. Now, what do we got here? Todd and I, Chris, if I was physically able to travel that far, I would make the trip over your way just to do it. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I get it. Your circumstances. Yeah, that's a long way. Here we go. Chris, in 67, they built 2,545. Wow, that's not many left, is it? 1%. If that. Less than that. Wow. Yeah. Chris Freemasson, if I ever dare stop south of the Mason-Dixon line, a visit to Franklin would most certainly be in order. Oh, cool. Good. I mean, you just got to make it happen, man. Just got to make it happen. And if I'm up in New York, hey, I got your address now, brother. Tavo, thanks, guys. Little Yowie is very unwell right now. He's the 10-year-old Tux, for those who have seen him. You haven't seen him, but yeah. Yeah, 10 years it's not too old, but it's getting up there a little. But yeah, certainly not an old cat, but not a young one either. Jeff Hutchins, Taylor, good luck with your cat. They grow on you even if you're trying not to. Cats have a lot of personality. Yeah, they do. They do. Mark Coronet guy, Robert Fitcher would love to see the progress on your Valiant. You worked hard to get to this point. Well, there you go. See, there you go, Robert. People are waiting to see it. Tavo, Barracuda and others interested. As a past LPG worker, a tank on the barbecue should blow off the relief valve if hot enough. Then the gas being heavy in the air could ignite. You'd only have a fire. Okay. It wouldn't go kaboom. Oh, no explosions. Right. Barracuda, Kiwi, do you have a cat or a dog? Actually, no. We did, but not anymore. Haven't had dogs, but yeah, had a cat. But yeah, she just got old, and yeah, we haven't got another pet. We just like that. We miss having an animal around, but at the same time, it's like it's easy if we want to just dash off for a weekend somewhere. You know, it's just entirely up to us. Do you want to go? Yeah, I want to go. Okay, let's go. You know, you don't have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to put it into a cat kennels or dog kennels or that sort of stuff. So yeah. So no, not right now. Maybe a dog is in our future, but I'm not quite sure when. Mark Coronet guy. Yeah, I heard that your car was going to be on Jamie's show. The 360 from Dale's Demon is going in it. You will see it up and coming. There you go. Where'd that go? Shot the page again. Paul Funk. We're great unless we start talking about seafood. Jeff Hutchins, got to say, there's not a bad apple on here. No, I mean, other live chats have to have moderators and stuff like that, and pull comments down and stuff like that. We just don't. I don't know. I mean, the dude was a moderator, and someone else was as well, but they kind of ended up unemployed. Really, there was just not a lot for them to do. There was no refereeing of comments or anything like that. It was just like everyone's just getting on and having a laugh. Tavo, Mr. Detail, the gas release from the relief valve should drop down to flame level and ignite. There you go. Volfly, keep forgetting to look into Damascus bar stock gas and brake pedals for the wagon. Damascus bar stock gas and brake pedals for the wagon. Just have to mill a crosshatch into them and clear coat them heavily. Might look interesting. Damascus bar stock. Okay. Barracuda, New Zealand LPG house heaters were made illegal. Oh, okay. Why was that? I know they produced a lot of condensation, but they had a danger factor, did they? Presumably. Chris Freemesser, except for Kev. Well, yes, with not much we can. Yeah, he's a problem. Tavo, that's precisely what heats my lounge. Well, there you go. Yeah, New Zealand gets a little bit overexcited about banning stuff and safety, and I guess some would say you can't be too safe, but sometimes I think you can. Coronet. So what you're saying is a guy could eat a stromboli while watching the Zamboni. Zamboni? It's the Zamboli? Oh, now you're confusing me. Working the rink. Well, maybe. I thought they were a Zamboni. Damascus bar stock, flat for knives, is cheap enough on eBay. Okay. Todd Denier, Chris, there's only about 8% of the 67 marlins left. Yeah. There wouldn't be any more than that. Jeff Hutchins, I'd love to be told what I'm doing wrong. The problem is the people that tell you usually don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Well, yeah, that happens. No doubt. That happens. Oh, hang on. Jeff Hutchins, Kev's never done anything to me. Oh, well, not that you're aware of. Not that you're aware of. Yet I heard he has a list. Yeah, it could well be. Chuck, have to take off. Great hanging out with you all. Have a good week. Cheers, mate. Thanks for joining in. Good to have you here as always. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Jeff Hutchins, wait. They say if you can't see the bad apple in the group, it's probably you. Ah, crap. Wait, no. Robert Fitch just took the Valiant to the DMV today for out-of-state inspection. She passed with flying colours. She aced the first one and is now street legal. Well, that's a good thing. That's not an easy test to pass. Everything's got to be right. So well done. Well done. You must have done something right, brother. Must have done. But, I think you'd be surprised if you went into the detail of those two inspections you've had to do on a video to explain to, like the guys here in the States, just how hard they could have it if they were unlucky. They find that sort of stuff quite interesting, I've found. And a little hard to believe, but, we know it's true, right? But, yeah, you must have done a nice job to straight through. Todd Denai and Volfly, why not make your own Damascus stock? I used to do some blacksmithing and would forge out knives. Oh, wow. Granddad's junk, people kept drying clothes on them. Oh, good grief, really? The LPG heaters. Well, that's a dumb idea, isn't it? Yeah, well, they say you can't fix stupid, but I guess you can try and protect them from themselves. Wow. Drying clothes on them. Good Lord. Close to them, but not on them. Wow. Jeff Hutchins, I prefer to eat a cannoli while eating the Zamboni. Yes, there you go. Volfly, Damascus stock has a wood grain pattern in it. Looks pretty. I have to say, I do. The penny dropped, and yeah, I know what you're saying now. Damascus stock, it didn't. The penny didn't drop, but now it has. Yeah, that's amazing. That pattern, that wavy kind of lines, as you say, a little wood grain looking. It's pretty cool. Tavo, carbon monoxide, if not flued properly, could be one factor, and many of them being portable are not flued at all. No. Barracuda, some years ago here, some young guys were huffing. Oh, really? Huffing LPG. Must have filled the room with gas. They got cold and lit the LPG heater. Boom, blew the roof off, rocked the house off its foundations. Wow. That's a lot of LPG. Good Lord. Yeah. Oh, well, what are you going to do? It's like I said, can't fix stupid, can you? Now, hang on a moment. There we go. Chris Freeman, Stromboli plus cannoli plus Zamboni equals a high-quality night out up in Kinetistan. Granddad's drunk or left running while going shopping, then fell over and burnt the houses down. Yeah. Oh, well, what you going to do? Mark Coronet guy, Robert Fitch, fabulous. That's what I got hosed on the dart. Very happy for you and exciting. Is it roadworthy and running, I assume? Yeah. Well, to pass his test, it must have been running roadworthy. It's roadworthy now. Volfly, have made Damascus. Once you learn it, you'll remember it forever. Yeah, I'll bet. Volfly, I need to make space in the garage for a forge and a log splitter converted to a forging press. It's an interesting setup, yeah. Tavo, yes, plenty of reasons for nanny state regs on things. Yep. If people would only think for themselves, yeah, but they don't. They don't. My coronet, perfect. Yes, indeed. Michael Pagliarini, my wife and family have tried to talk me into doing YouTube videos on fabricating sheet metal pots. I make most of my own panel, but when I work in the garage, it's more like mental therapy. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It does. Yeah, the videos don't make themselves, and sometimes, yeah, I get it. You know, that's the thing too. Sometimes there's some stuff I could have filmed and made a video out of, but sometimes you just kind of want to get into your own headspace and just not have to think about outside influences and is the camera pointed the right, the right way. Am I saying something that doesn't sound stupid? So sometimes you just want to. I know for me, you just want to get on with it, get it done, and get the that reward for getting it done. That mental kind of reward. And so some stuff I do just doesn't get videoed, and it's just because no, I just want to do it and not have any distractions. So I get what you're saying. That mental therapy is a thing. Granny's saying, Tavo, brother, dead right. People are stupid. Don't think first or at all, and then blame everyone else but themselves. Yeah, well, that's becoming more and more prevalent these days. Volfly, me too. I have the all burner for a forge too. Have the materials, need the space. Ain't that the truth? Barry Cooter, what model Valiant, Robert? There you go. Tavo, as long as you present them with a car that's just a bit better than it came off the showroom floor, that you should pass. Maybe a little detail here or there that they'll still pick on. Right. It's just a bit better than it came off the showroom floor. They are tough, aren't they? I've heard they're really tough in Aussie. So I've never had to do it in Aussie. So. Mark Coronet guy, Robert Fitch, do you have a channel? What's the name? I would be number 12. There you go. Yeah, tell us the name, Robert, and some of us should go over there and just subscribe, and just to help the algorithm, as they love to say. Just a little bit of activity on your channel, and it spawns more activity. Robert Fitch, the inspections here in Oregon are easy. They just make sure the VIN on the car is the same as the one on. Oh, you're in Oregon. Why did I think you were in Australia? I don't know. Yeah, because you said you had a Valiant. I assumed that we were in Aussie because you got a Valiant. Okay, or am I getting myself all screwed up here? I don't know. Oh, it's late. That's my excuse. And my bourbon's getting low already. And we've still got 40 minutes to go. 20 minutes. No, 40 minutes to go. Good Lord, I can't even add. Volfly, I think an all-burning forge would be better than a propane forge, since it would add carbon for a reduction atmosphere. That's getting very technical, isn't it? Hang on. Oh, there we go. Brad Eastman, yes, the certification over here is a killer. That's why the 52 is going back together. Stock definitely makes it easier. David Torrey, why protect them? If they survive, it pollutes the gene pool. Well, there's some truth to that. Mind you, who of those among us has not done something stupid and gone, ooh, that was lucky? Who can say they've never done that? Yeah, it does happen. I mean, so it happens to some people way too much, but yeah, the best of us can have a little, dumb moment. Tavo still reckon to regulate everything and let nature take its course. It would. It definitely would. Barracuda, those young guys weren't in good condition either after that. No, I bet they weren't. Mark Coronet guy, speaking of huffing, I bought a can of spray paint at Home Depot. They carded me because of the losers huffing paint. What happened to good old whipped cream? Oh, Lord. When did that happen, Mark? Like, is that something they're doing these days, or was that like a once upon a time thing years ago sort of a deal? I know it was a real problem in New Zealand for a while, huffing paint, paint cans. And you see the people that were addicted to it, their face was basically painted. So yeah, it was a real epidemic going. Well, epidemic might be a little bit dramatic, but it was a real problem, shall we say, in New Zealand for a number of years. Oh, there we go. Robert Fitch, who spelled it wrong. At Valiant Effort 65. So what are you doing with? Oh, okay, it's a Valiant. It's an American Valiant. I forget that they did actually brand them here as Valiants, didn't they? I have to go and look at that, mate. Todd Denier, Volfly, have you ever made Makumagani? Or however it's spelled? I can't even say it. How? You certainly never made it. Volfly, basically bought an all burner from an East Coast water heater on eBay, still set up. Oh, my battery's running low. Okay, hang on, guys. I've got to plug my laptop in. Here's the cord. Give me a moment. I could even plug right behind. Technical difficulties resolved. Right, where was I? Jeff Hutchins, Robert Fitch. Yet one thing Oregon hasn't screwed up yet. Volfly, Moncal Garni, am I saying that right? Is made with copper and brass, if I recall correctly. Still can't spell it right. I can't say it right. So what do you would love to try and make it. Interesting. Chris Freemus, the advantage of doing YouTube for fun and not a living is having the luxury of not needing to record everything you do. Yeah. I could put out more videos if I recorded everything I did, but sometimes just got to get on with it, just get her done. As Larry the Cable Guy would have said. Volfly, not sure if I could afford to make Monku Gane. The raw materials are pricey. They do sell the bar stock on eBay also. Interesting. I had no idea. Very good. I smashed myself in the forehead with a small sledgehammer. Some might say that was pretty stupid. That's what I mean. We all have our moments. There's wrong place, wrong time, wrong decision. If you put them all together, we've all made a lot of wrong decisions. A lot of us have been in the wrong place, and also been at the wrong time. But you put them all three together, and suddenly you look pretty stupid. Jeff Hutchins, isn't bronze a copper and brass alloy? Could be too, actually. Well, getting technical now. Todd denies, usually made with noble metals. Silver, gold, platinum. Yeah, well, that would be expensive. Wow. Here we go. Chris Freeman. Shut up the bay. Dang it. Oh, I'm a bit further back than I thought I was. Where'd you go? Oh, there you go. That's not a bad idea, is it? Chris Freeman. So somebody make Kiwi a map with little coloured red pins to show him where we all live. The little flags. You can have your little picture or initial on them. Yeah, that would be a bit of fun actually. Mark Coronet guy. I thought Robert Fitch was in Washington State. Kiwi, we are worlds apart. Kiwi, we were worlds apart. Yeah. I thought he was. For some reason. I mean, classic example of stupid. But hey, when he said Valiant, I kind of went down to Tavo's end of the world where Valiant's so popular, And yeah, I thought that was him. But yeah, you did have a few Valiants here. But I'm more used to them being Plymouths and Dodges, like Dodge Dart. Like your guy's Dodge Dart America's Dodge Dart was a Valiant. But yeah, there was a few of those mid-60s were badge Valiants, Plymouth Valiants. So yeah, that had briefly left my brain. Chris Freemesser, Barracuda, first strike equals accident, second strike equals dumbass. Okay. Looks like I left a set of keys in my washing. Just got handed that by Mrs. K. Oops. Well, they're nice, clean keys now. They're lovely and clean. Look, see, shiny. Don't think she's amused. Never mind, see, stupid shit again. Don't usually bring customers' keys home, but tonight I did, so there you go. Anyway, where was I? Robert Fitch, Barracuda. It's a 65 Plymouth Valiant 100 postcard 2-door slant 6 with a Super 6 intake and Carter BBD. Again, at Valiant Effort 65. Effort 65. I'm going to go and have a look at that. Volfly, correct spelling. Makumi Gane. Sounds like an actor from one of those B-grade Japanese Godzilla movies, to me anyway. Probably is Japanese, judging by the name, but not an actor. Bronze is copper and tin. Oh, there you go. Todd Denio, driveway. Finding where I live is easy. Lake Superior looks like a dog's head looking west. Go to the western tip of the dog's snout and go due north to the Canadian border and you'll find Eli. Oh, there you go. Just a little cold up that way. Barracuda Chris Eve, I haven't done that again. Oh, dear. Andy Nicola, I've often thought about doing vids on some of the really interesting repairs, but I have so many jobs waiting, it wouldn't be fair to make them wait even longer while I'm making vids. Yeah, it definitely takes more time. It definitely takes more time. And then you've got, a few hours editing and stuff like that. And just learning to edit is takes time. Driveway of misfits. You get carded here in New York when buying aerosol spray paints. I think nobody under the age of 18, 21 is allowed to buy. Oh, wow. Yeah, they don't bother down here in Tennessee. Mark Coronet guy, Kiwi, this is now, twice within 2 weeks at Home Depot. Yeah, well, Chris Freemo messes backing you up, mate, on that. So, yeah. Well, yeah, they just don't. Yeah. Okay. So I'm guessing Mark. I'm guessing you didn't look like under 21 to be buying it. Like I know, when you buy alcohol in a restaurant, like they certainly here in Tennessee, they card everybody Doesn't matter how ancient you are, you get carded when you buy alcohol in a restaurant. So is it like that with the spray cans as well, or is it just if you look like a 16-year-old huffer? Tavo chrome spray was the one we had to take down details when we sold it at the truck's parts place. Oh wow, chrome spray. Well, that had to be good for you, didn't it? Not that any of it's good, but I imagine the chrome one was worse. Jeff Hutchins, Voflo would have guessed bronze had brass in it. Shows what I don't know. There you go. Jeff Hutchins. The huffers I saw like gold spray paint. Idiots. So gold and chrome. I wonder what's in that makes them like it even more. Why do I even want to know? I don't know. Andy Nicol, as my old mum used to say, Afamo. Oh, now what part of the world was she come from saying that, Afamo? That sounds very English. Firefly, well, I was good at household chemistry. There were books on it in my library. Oh, wow. Now those books are banned. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. Yeah, like they couldn't find it on the internet if they went looking. Yeah. Then the huffers probably wouldn't look in a book to figure it out. They'd go to the internet, wouldn't they? Jeff Hutchins, I wonder if the age restriction on spray paint is to reduce. Shut up the page again. To reduce something or other. Oh, chat disconnected. So, okay, we had a little disconnect there briefly. Did I go offline? Jeff Hutchins, restriction on. I wonder if the restriction on spray paint is to reduce graffiti. Could have been. And Tavo says that's the reason they did it down here, supposedly to stop graffiti. Not like it has worked at all. That's a tough one to stop. Todd Denier, Chris, it's pronounced Markumagain. Markumagain. Okay. There you go. See, you learn something every day. I'm getting smarter by that. Every one of these lives, I get smarter. It's scary. Barracuda, Robert, I've got an Australian 65 AP6 Valiant 4-door project car, 225 torque fly. I had an AP5 4-door. Man, it was a good car. Can't even remember what I did with it. Yeah, must have sold it. I just don't even remember selling it, but clearly I did. But that was a good car. They went well for what they were. They had plenty of power. Especially as I think I was 17, something like that when I had it. And it was at that point, it was the most powerful car I'd had. Because I'd had a couple of Zephyrs before that, which had a little 2.5 litre straight six in them, but didn't have the power that the Valiant had. Jeff Hutchins, trivia question. What country has no native mammals? Liberia. Good Lord. They had some, now they're missing. Oh, good grief. Jeff Hutchins, 7048 France, because they're all France because they're all frogs. It's just a joke. That's pretty good, actually. Snow Crusher had a 62 Valiant and a 63. Wife had a 64. My dad had a 66. Well, you've got them almost all covered, haven't you? Yeah, I think mine must have been, AP5 would have been probably a 64. Robert Fitch in the States, Valiants were under the Plymouth brand. Sister car, the Dodge Dart. So much that the doors are interchangeable. Okay, like A bodies, wasn't it? Was it A bodies? Yeah, I guess they were. Jeff Hutchins. I didn't say invertebrates, no back. Oh, we're getting back onto seafood. Tavo, 65 US Valiant, very much like the AP6 Kiwi, just with a really ugly rear end. Andy Nickel, locked myself out once removing a truck bumper. Locked yourself out removing a truck bumper with a 3/4 inch ratchet with a cheetah bar that slipped off the bolt and whacked me in the forehead. I knocked myself out. I thought I'd read it wrong. Too much bourbon, I think. I thought you said locked yourself. Knocked myself out. Oh, wow. Yep, they could do it. Ouch. Wildfly. Chris Freemason. Ouch. By the way, I'm technically quarter French. There you go. Technically. How are you technically quarter French? Wasn't that like a yes or no answer? Todd Denier, the temperature here in Eli got up to 49 today. Oh, very nice. Quite tropical almost. Barracuda, Dad had an AP6 and off the page it went again. Oh, I wish it didn't do that. There we go. My first car was an AP6. Both of those were 3 on the column, manual, 225. The one I had was a push-button auto. Kind of cool. Volfly, C or Fahrenheit? Degrees centigrade or Fahrenheit? Yeah, well, he's on the south side of the border, so it's probably Fahrenheit. And if it was C, that's scorching hot. Yeah, it's got to be Fahrenheit. 49 degrees C is hot as Hades. That's like Death Valley hot. Yeah, definitely not centigrade. Barracuda and the American ones don't hold as much luggage, Tavo. Hey, do you see many P76s around anymore, Tavo? Did they all just fade away into back into Mother Earth, or like rot into the ground, or are there still a few hanging around Australia? Barracuda Hitler had a third of a mode, yes. Robert Fitch, inside Portland city limits, they charge you for spray paint. They incorrectly thought it would cut down on graffiti, not thinking about the fact it could be purchased just out of town. Yeah, well, this is it. Paul Funk, spray is caged in the stores because of graffiti here in Colorado. Man, not here, not in Tennessee. Michael Pagliarini, yes, spray paint is in RI is kept under lock and key. Kids huff it. Huh. Todd Denier, huffers can't remember how to open a book. Yeah, well, this is true. Volfly, got a chance to practice TIG welding today. Nice. Getting slightly better. Welded some crusty exhaust holes shut. That's good practice with really dirty welding. Yes, if you can weld dirty exhaust, crusty exhaust, then that's pretty good with a TIG. That's not the ideal material for a TIG. I mean, it's doable, but yeah, that's a good effort, man. Well done. Tavo, but being a little more humble, if not for the US Valiants, we wouldn't have had our Valiants. We'd probably still be face-listing the Chrysler Royal. Oh, yeah, well. David Tyree sniffing toluene will give you a buzz and a headache. Toluene. Haven't heard that name for a long time. We used to mix 20% toluene in with our race gas when we were rallying, when we had a forced induction rally car. Subaru, or Subaru as we call them in New Zealand. 20%, I think it was 15 or 20% toluene added to the race gas, or avgas it was actually, just to help stop detonation. It's pretty potent stuff, toluene. Huffing it would be. Ooh, that'd cost you a few brain cells, I'm sure. Andy Nicol, English mum, Canadian dad, had their first baby in London during the Blitz. Oh, wow. Dad was flying a Lancaster bomber over Africa at the time. Wow. That's awesome. Well, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't in the day, but it's awesome to hear about that, is what I meant. Wow. And they all lived to tell the tale. London was a dangerous place during the Blitz. It's not a safe place to be. Mark Coronet guy, great to chat with you all tonight. I'm out of tequila. Got to go. Have a great night. Well, thanks for joining in, Mark. Appreciate you. See you next Tuesday with a bit of luck. Barracuda, I only see one Chrysler Royal here. Yeah. Jeff Hutchins wanted to see if all you Kiwis knew that your country has no native mammals. I know it has no snakes. Mammals, no native mammals? Huh. No native mammals. You could be right there. Never thought about it. I know we had no snakes. But yeah, obviously the bird life is not mammals. No, actually, you're probably right, mate. A lot of reptiles, that kind of thing. David Tyree, Jeff Hutchins, yes, we do. A native bat. Huh, okay. There you go. Ooh. Hang on. Bowfly dodges invisible bats and manta rays in the. You've been huffing something, Bowfly. That's the problem. They're not really there, mate. We can't stop here. This is bat country. Brad Eastman. All I remember of those Valiants was Russ. My dad's one was terrible. Oh, wow, really? Granddad's Junk. My first car was an AP5. Cool car. Always went. Yeah. Well, the 225 slant six, I mean, that's a great engine. And again, not great horsepower. You know, they could be made to go good. Don't get upset, guys. But you could make good horsepower out of it. But just a stock out of the box 225 was all about torque and going forever. They use them a lot, stationary motors, don't they? No, I can't see a thing out of these glasses. Good Lord. They use them a lot of stationary motors because they just go and go. You sit them at 2,500 RPM and, come back in 5 years. It'd still be going. Ooh, look at that. I'll make it easy to read the comments. Barracuda saw a YouTube video of 68 Hemi dart. Someone in the comments said darts were hideously ugly. I'm surprised anyone could think that. To me, they are particularly nice looker. Yeah, I agree. Yep, I agree. Tavo, P76 did get a following a bit too late, but there's probably a few hundred still on the road. Okay. Brad Eastman, there's a few P76 cars floating around here. Yeah, it's kind of cool that they're still around. I know they were a bit of a failure, but, still a little piece of Australian automotive history, though, wouldn't it? Even though it was technically, but not really British Leyland, it was Australian. But yeah, I mean, it has a place in the history. And didn't they race them a little bit too, Tavo, at some point? And they did reasonably well. I mean, it was a 4.4 litre V8. It was, And they had I think if I remember rightly, they came with a 4-speed column change too, which not many people here they didn't do many, if any, 4-speed column change here stateside. But that was definitely a New Zealand and probably out of England more than anything, like the old 4-speed Zephyrs and stuff. They were all column changed except the odd one. I actually had a Mark III Zephyr. Again, teenage years. I was buying and selling cars like a madman when I was in my teens. And yeah, I had a Mark III Zephyr with an English assembled one with a factory installed 4-speed in it. And yeah, that was a cool car. Except occasionally on the downshift to second, it was a bit embarrassing actually. Sometimes on the downshift to second, it would catch second and fourth at the same time and put it into 2 gears at once, which if any of you understand the internal workings of a manual transmission, when you put them into 2 gears at once, they lock up solid, nothing turns. It can't. Either the transmission explodes or the back axle, the rear wheels stop turning instantly. And that's what mine did probably 3 or 4 times. It would just, so you'd be slowed down for traffic lights, and then next thing you're doing this unintentional handbrake slide up to the traffic lights. They're like, what the far out, So that was the little hiccup in the English 4-speed Zephyr. Anyway, Granddad's Junk, there are 2 native bats. I guess they qualify as mammals. Well, they have little pouches, but their little ones live in, don't they? I think, with a bat. Haven't been watching enough David Attenborough, that's the problem. Chris Freemesser, some of my ancestors came from Alsace, a region that's now French, but have been part of both France and Germany several times over the centuries. Oh, wow. Okay. I see why you explained it the way you did. That makes perfect sense now. Yeah, so you're kind of possibly France and kind of possibly German heritage, but yeah. Barracuda, I don't think New Zealand got very many 6-cylinder P76, just about all V8s. Yeah, that probably sounds right. They did make, it was a British Leyland 6, it was not a good 6-cylinder, as I recall. Todd and I just had a text come in. A guy is offering me a set of, hang on, got a little arrow over the thing. Offering me a set of 14-inch Superior wheels that are knockoff Krager SS with decent tyres. 500, decent price or not? Ooh, pass, don't know. 14-inch Superior wheels. Haven't heard of the Superior brand. $400 doesn't seem too bad, but I'm not really sure. To be honest, I'm not really sure. Are the tyres like usable? Are they young enough to be usable, or are they like 20-year-old tyres that have been kicked, sitting in a shed for somewhere forever? Josh Hoban, hard to believe that anyone would want to sniff spray paint. I used it before and the smell was awful. Yeah, if you're not used to it, it is pretty awful. But honestly, you do. That sounds bad, doesn't it? With all the painting I've done over the years, and the solvents, that you do get a bit nose blind to the solvents, and I guess that's what happens to the Huffers. They just don't really smell it anymore. I think it just burns up those smell receptors in your nose, because like I can smell it, but like the wife will come into the workshop or something and she goes, "Oh my God, how can you breathe in here?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" But I'm not high on it. No, I mean, it's not that. You've got to really huff it to get high on it. Tavo, 3 model variants I haven't owned: RV1, 61, RV2, 62, and the VC. Okay. Owned at least one of every other model down here. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. The RV and RV1 and 2s, they were the ones that had the fenders that kind of came, like they curved up and forward and up and back into like little wings, weren't they? I think they kind of had a Lancer look to them. If I'm thinking of the right one, I think I am. Quite a unique body shape. Was there an AP3 Valiant? And maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Too long ago, 50 years ago, man. Jeff Hutchins, they said land mammals, that would include bats, excludes marine mammals. I guess you can't believe the interweb. There's three native bats. There you go. So who thought we'd be discussing bats? Let's have a show of hands. Who thought that was going to be tonight's off-topic topic? The holes. Hey, man, welcome along. Good to have you here. Yes, New Zealand is known for not having any native land mammals. Sheep, mice, rats, everything was brought in by the colonisers. Yeah, exactly. Brad Eastman, I think there's a native bat down here. And up the page it goes. I've got to figure out how to stop it doing that. There we go. Vilefly clinks to a chocolate-covered pretzel. I'm not sure about you, Vilefly. I'm really not. Robert Fitch, I've seen a picture of a Valiant picture that has the same front end and grille as a 68 US Dart. Sweet rig. Yeah. Yep. They kept that Valiant name going for quite a long time. Vilefly, I hope you bought enough to share them with the rest of the class. Robert Fish, oops, I mean ute. Oh, okay. Yeah, pretty rare ute. They did make some Valiant utes. But yeah, they're pretty scarce. Steve Sadusky, one more beer and I'm going to call it a night. Well, I got it. What do I got? About quarter inch of bourbon left. So, yeah, and then I'm calling it a night. But, yeah, we've got 6 minutes to go. So I need to hurry up and catch up. Todd and I, my cross Freemason ancestors came from Noyon, Normandy, France, about 60 miles from Paris. Yeah. It's a very mixed world we live in now, isn't it? Firefly, dark chocolate covered pretzels, such a strange word. Robert Fitch, I'm out of beer and obviously can't type, so I better get more beer. Be right back. There you go. Snow Crusher, speaking of stationary motors, I just picked up a 1912 Stover 1 horsepower engine, hit and miss. That'd be kind of cool. Tavo, I did own a 6-cylinder P76, sold it just before they got a following, of course. They did well rallying. Oh, really? Not racing, and no 4-speed. 4-speed was only floor shift in the P. Same single rail as Ford and Chrysler use. Oh, okay. Huh. So memory played tricks on you, didn't it? I thought they were a 4-speed column change. There you go. The Zephyrs were. I bet money on that. But yeah, oh well, there you go. You learn something, or you relearn it every day. Todd Denio, Snow Crusher, hit and miss engines are awesome. Yeah, I've don't think I've ever actually heard one run in the flesh, and I'd kind of like to. I've heard so much about, not so much, but heard about them regularly, and it would be kind of cool. Jeff Hutchins, you guys just reminded me that a customer from Hawaii sent me chocolate macadamia nut clusters. Yummy. David Torrey, the Japanese did a few 5-speed column chains vehicles. They were a pain to drive. I did not know that. 5-speed column changes. Wow. Well, I guess they had the 3 gates, didn't they? Anyway, first, second, fifth, and reverse. Yeah. Michael Pagliarini, night all time to feed the snake. Oh, okay. Just don't feed it any bats. You'll be fine. Barracuda, I was buying my first car, AP6, as the All Blacks were playing South Africa, Carisbrook in 1981, a cold, wet, miserable day. That's a very good, clear memory, isn't it? God, I couldn't tell you what I was doing when I bought my first car. Todd Denay, Chris, the tyres are not too old and look used very little. Guy says he paid $2,000 for the wheels and tyres. Wow. Mate, I don't know. I can't really give you good advice on that, whether that's a good deal or not. I don't know. $500 doesn't get you much these days. So, yeah, it's. I mean, if they're the right look for your car and you like them, then yeah, I'd say buy them. $500, Barracuda from a car yard. There you go. Tavo, that P76 cylinder engine was developed in Australia initially for the Tasman Kimberley as a 2.2 from the British overhead cam 4-cylinder, then increased to 2.6 for the P76. British Leyland then used it. I thought it had, I didn't say anything, and I'm not just saying it now after, it probably sounds like I'm saying it after the fact, but I do remember the Tasmans and Kimberleys, that 6-cylinder that they had, overhead cam. Those were slow, terribly slow cars. They didn't make much power. I imagine they'd have been a bit of a dog in the P76 because that was a big car. Even stretched out to 2.6, that was underpowered, wasn't it? Wow. Those Kimberleys and Tasmans were chronic for cracking heads. Chronic. They were just like every one of them pretty much had a cracked head. Chris Freeman, Todd Denay, tyres should have a date stamp on them. Any idea what it is? Yeah, that's right. Right now, I've got a 69 Mustang, an R code, 428 big block factory R code Mustang in the shop, and it's the date stamp on that is 2006. So 20-year-old tyres on it, on something with a 428 in it, and it's like, this is not a good idea. Steve Sadusky, 40-inch tyres are a short, small tyre unless you have something specific to fit them on. I'd pass on it. Yeah, I think. Todd, we can answer his own, that question, I guess. But I think the Marlin, therefore his Marlin, and I think it came out with 14s anyway. So I think that's his the appeal for him. Tavo, yes, road totes. The Lancer was made from the first Valiants. AP3 was a Chrysler Royal, no AP4. Okay. Look at that. It's 9 o'clock. Yeah, mate. Yeah, Todd can't see the date in the pictures. Maybe ask him to zoom in on that a little bit. It's typically a 4-digit number, and it's the week and the year that they were produced. So, it could be like 49, which is the 49th week, and then, it'll be, 13 or 18, or, the car I'm talking about that I've got in the shop now was 06. But that's how that code works. So, and the trick is, I don't know how you get away, get on up in the Eli, but certainly around here, if it's over 10 years old, none of the tyre shops will touch them. They won't even put air in them. Like they won't. If you go in and say, "Can you just check my tyre pressure?" They won't. They won't touch them as soon as they see the date stamp because of liability issues. So that is something to think about. Jeff Hutchins, a 67, 69 A body ute would be sweet. They really are. Barry Cooter, I'd love to have an AP6 ute. Never seen one here. Seen a VC ute. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I guess it's a pretty uniquely American thing that most of us can tell you with great accuracy where our ancestors immigrated from. Interesting. I guess it could be, yeah. I'm back just as you read. You were quick, mate. That's the main thing. I'm a little behind. Very few VH. Yeah, there wouldn't. Yeah, there's very few any Valiant utes around. I think a lot of them just rotted away. Barry Cooter, my washing machine works again. Well, good to know. Tavo, the P76 2.6 could easily hold its own against the Holden 202. Wow, really? I'm shocked. Oh, because in those Kimberleys were dogs. They were slow. That's curious. That you really surprised me. I was basing that opinion strictly on the Kimberley Tasman deal, but they were mostly automatic. So maybe it was just the automatic was sucking the life out of them. I don't know. I'm impressed that it would keep up with a 202. That's pretty good. Todd and I, tyres are at least 6 years old. 6 years is okay. You still get them worked on. They're not going to fly apart on you. Jeff Hutchins, a 70 A-body ute is even sweeter. They got the Hemi 6 in them. Yeah, Vileflight, not a bad price. Look at that. I've caught up and it's 9:04. All right, fellas. Well, again, it's been fun. So I do appreciate you. And, it was very cool getting to the 30,000 subs. And you guys are all part of that. So thank you. And, yeah, have a great week in the week coming up. We got a few more videos coming, so keep an eye out for them. Should have an Alpine one out. Got a Mustang one out. And, yeah, a couple of other things in the works. So, yeah, keep an eye out for it. And have a good week. Get out there playing on, working on your toys. Barry Cooter, I had a 3.3 at a VK Commodore. It probably could pull the skin off a rice pudding, but only just. Jeff Hutchins. If you're Australian, you know where your ancestors are from. Well, this is true. Yeah, you're not giving the piss, you're taking the piss. You're not giving the piss. All right. Okay, guys, got to go. Get some shut-eye. Got another big day tomorrow. Plenty to do. Got to take wifey to the airport early in the morning. And, yeah, so I'll see you here next week. All right, take it easy, guys. Have a good one, and thanks again. See ya.